back there. They're cupped like a disc shape, like a bowl. They cut the ground and flip the soil over, which hides the material on top, chops it up, grinds it up, and then is left with a pretty pass behind it. There are better tillage equipment out there, but for our farm, discs are affordable. You can still find them. They're pretty simple, and they will work in a lot of different conditions, especially wet, turfy ground. So that's the reason we're still using discs. We could turbo till. If we won the lottery, we could turbo till. We did have a neighbor come and turbo till a whole farm last fall after we spread chicken litter, which worked great, but it does not hide the green stuff in the springtime that we have issues with. So let me show you the cab of this. So in the cab of this tractor, you have your standard issue Mountain Dew cans that are empty. This is an older tractor, I think early 90s model. 100%, it's just right over 200 horsepower. But it has plenty of pulling power because it is our articulating tractor, which makes the swivels in the middle, and then we also have 8 tires. So big duals, big machine. These tractors are somewhat affordable these days, and we can kind of call them cheap horsepower. Dad had this one repainted and redone. It looks fantastic. Pretty simple dash right there. You notice I'm not just pulling this real hard. We don't run anything full throttle because everything's old and we don't want to tear it up, so I have to work on it. So that's the gauges. Nothing super technologically advanced in this. I mean, it's a 90s model. It is a power shift transmission. Have your hydraulic levers, 3 sets of remotes, and that's what the floor looks like. Fantastic tractor. We love it. We got it. Dad bought it just probably, I guess, 5 years ago now. So a pretty new piece of equipment on the farm. To give you a farming update, so no auto steer, so I got to watch what I'm doing. I actually have to drive straight and hold on the steering wheel. To give you an update, Dad has got about 60 acres of sunflowers planted on the highway. We got it planted for Arkansas Game and Fish, so hope for all of you in Arkansas, apply for that dove hunting permit. I hope it's a good hunt like it was last year. Dad and Will got about 20 acres of corn planted. You can see it over here. We'll be butting up to it. We planted corn over there because the deer hit that really hard if it's planted in soybeans. So corn they do not mess with much at all when it's growing, only when it produces a cob with kernels on it. And also we stopped at that line right there. That's where I bet we're going to bring the deer fence, electric fence, straight across this other soybean field. So about 20 acres of corn planted. And then Dad and Will have got a 25 acre field right here, planted soybeans today. And then another, they're halfway down with a 40 acre field across the road. So we're trucking along. I've been taking care of the kid a lot, so I have not been on this tractor or on our fields very often so far. I do have 36 acres of corn planted at Walcott on our school farm. And we'll be planting soybeans there Monday if everything goes right. Well, that's our update. So that field right there, that field is planted. You might be wondering why we're doing so much tillage. Time to spray some pre-emerge, but we don't have any water run up. So the little lapse in video there, I got a call from Dad. He changed the chemical rate, which was a good change. I'm glad he did that. So right here, right there, that's a quick connect like I have on this. I rigged that up for him. That came from our Ace store. It's just a quick connect, and I can pop that it has a ball valve there. I'll pop it off, click it on this when I rinse out my mixing bowl. I don't think I've ever explained this before. And I put a big brass float valve in here, which helps some. It does not work all that great. So there's a big float valve in the tank, and that keeps us from running water over. And then we used to try to put a water hose in the top and then set a brick on top and then try to time it out. and we run a lot of water over, was wasting water. This is rural water, so we had to pay for it. So we didn't like wasting water, and that's the reason we have that set up. So this is a pretty old setup that we have. We just done it over the years. So we have a big Roundup tank or glyphosate tank. We'll use generic Roundup because it's cheaper. This Honda engine right here, my dad used to irrigate with this, and this engine's been turned over, run the oil out of it, and thrown a rod. And I believe the story is when it threw a rod, he put the pieces back together of the block and JB welded it, then honed out the cylinder, put new rings and a new rod and piston in it, and it still runs. Almost, well, I mean, it starts every time. It's a fantastic, we're a believer in Hondas. Got a pump, long hose, so mixing bowl set up in that configuration with a 500-gallon tank. This is a 16-foot trailer. We did use this as a mobile setup, but now 2 years ago, I bid and bought a water wagon for Dad with his money. It was a great deal. We got it set up, and that is our transfer tank, 1,000 gallons. We got the big nozzle, big banjo fittings on the end. So if you go back and you watch some of my spraying videos, you'll see this. And we save all of the jugs and barrels, and we have our FFA alumni at my school has a plastic recycling business where they take this #2 plastic from agricultural goods and they grind it up and then sell it and recycle it. And a part of that proceeds, it's a business, so that guy makes money, does it, and a portion of those proceeds comes back to the FFA alumni chapter at my school, and we use that for scholarships and paying for jackets and mileage and all kinds of stuff, supporting kids in leadership conferences. So that's what we do. We're gonna let this water run. I'm gonna go get the spray rig, bring it back up here, check it all out, and then we'll get to spraying some pre-emerge. Pre-emerge right there. We're gonna run about 3 1/3 ounces of Zidua. 3 1/3, I may even run 4 ounces of liquid Zidua, and that should work just fine. Well, let's go. The old oil check. Run out of diesel, we can't run out of oil. Really don't want to run out of diesel because that's a pain. Yep, we're good. That's difficult. There we go. Hydraulic oil looks good. Hear the goats munching in the background. Oh, you see that? That needs some attention. I need to weld that at some point, not today. That only, just kind of checking that out, that only holds the platform on, so man, it's only gonna fall off if I stand on it, potentially. So I'm not too worried about it. But I did not know it was like that. Like somebody's welded on it before. Not us. Welcome to the glass coffin. Oh look, it comes preloaded with Mountain Dew cans. Neutral. You gotta let go of the key and then it starts. For as small of a cab as these things have, you would think the air conditioner would be exceptional, but it's not exceptional. This thing has a funky smell in it today. I don't know if it's that, I don't think it's that Prowl. Prowl does have a smell, but this does not seem like a Prowl smell. It's what we sprayed on the sunflowers. What Dad sprayed on the sunflowers. All I did for the sunflowers was help him set the planter. Alright. Come on, Mustang transmission. pit stop, feed the heifers and feed the goats. Happy heifers. Remember, if you want to pick up any Ganderland merch, the stuff I wear here on the channel, you can just go to your local Goodwill and pick it up. You can even get you a George Strait series button-up shirt like this one. Go to your local Goodwill, pick whatever is in your size. There you go. Don't forget to buy Ganderland merch at your local Goodwill. Okay, I'm gonna swing it out so I get out the door. We're neutral. I'm gonna go up. Well, I can unlock the booms. See, that was quick. We are, what do we got in here? That says cleaned out, never hurts to check. It is empty. You can see the yellow, the sign that we sprayed Prowl. Looks like we have plenty in our foam marker tank. I'm gonna leave the pump off because there's no water. We're gonna splash about 300 gallons of water in here and some Zitua. Down what goes on. We pull into the field, hit my switches, take my boom tips up, take my booms out while I shift into reverse, and I back up and line up. Now on the way to the field, I've already got my foam markers primed. I drop my boom down. Right now we're spraying as low as we can go because this is pre-emerge. So I back up away from the field on the field approach. We'll pop it in third gear. Now I'm gonna run it up. And just to double check, since I've had some issues with these switches, I'm going to kick all my switches on, make sure I'm spraying at 30 PSI. Means I'm good, and that blasts the clean water out of the system that we had it clean. So third gear, get ready. Now I'll flip one switch, turn my foam markers on. Alright, now I'm spraying, pop in the fourth gear, gonna clutch it, pop in fourth gear. Now I'll set my throttle up about 3,100 RPMs in this spray coupe. We try not to push the limit. So I'm in fourth gear, I'm running about 3,100 RPMs, and that should get me close to 10 miles an hour. And it looks like my pressure's a little high, just a couple PSI, which is odd. So I'm gonna go ahead and click and bump that down just a little bit. That's pretty much in perfect range. So I'm doing the in-rows right now. Some may call them headlands, we call them in-rows or turn rows. And I do a 60 foot in the boom, I do 120 foot around the field with the foam markers. And that gives me room to turn without any issues without hitting the trees. Spraying part of our field road over here about halfway across because, I mean, it's not going to make us any money, but most of your weed pressure will come from the turn rows outside of the field where you're not spraying, you're not controlling. So I always like to get my boom over as far as I back in, and that extra 2 foot will make a big difference on the weed pressure from letting that seed drift into the field. Now I'm going to set my feed mark, and now it's going to tell me where to drive. Radio station plays country music. True country music. I wish they had a radio station just for sports, so I don't have to listen to sports on my country radio station. Different rate. A quart of glyphosate plus 3.3 ounces of Zidua per acre. That's what we're doing. Looks like you have the shakes. That 1 2.5 gallon jug of Zidua is right at $1,600. And we do about 3.3 ounces per acre. Pretty expensive. You don't want to spill that jug. Another day in the spray rig. It took me all day, pretty much, from about 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock to spray 30 acres at Walcott on the school farm. Just breakdown after breakdown. Not wanting to work right. Glad to be back home in the spray coop. Hopefully everything goes fine. I got another 50 acres to spray tonight here, which should only take about hour and 15 minutes because it's in 6 different fields. So that's what we're doing today. fitting right here. Yes, that is electrical tape. So that just sticks in the tank, and occasionally that jumps out. But luckily it's just right here next to the door, so when that happens, you know it happens really quick. What you think, Cora? Huh? What you think? Are you tall? Yeah, that's how you do it. Girl. So it happened 2 more times. So I fixed it. Oh look, dead deer. Got a hydraulic shaft issue. Supposed to be getting parts in the morning, but right there, dead deer, dead deer, dead deer.